Hey everybody, Gina Minyard here, and going live for a yoga class here on Thursday. I'm just, as always, my screen is over here and the camera's over here, so I'm kind of going back and forth. Just if you're here and you want to say hello, we'd love to let us know that you're here and doing some yoga together. So it's May. I'm thinking about my live schedule, and I'm not doing TLC Thursdays for this month. So just a regular yoga practice, all levels for this month. We'll see what happens, yeah, we'll see what happens. All the TLC Thursday classes are on my YouTube page, Gina Minyard Yoga and Meditation. So you can find them all over there that are pre-recorded. All my live videos, even the Facebook ones I put over there. All right, well, it's time to start, so it's good to be here. Thanks for watching now, or if you're watching later. Today in Atlanta is, well, I guess everywhere, but teaching you from Atlanta, and it's a full moon this morning. This morning it was full at 6:45 a.m. and it's the flower moon. It's also the milk moon and the corn moon, just invoking this, springtime bonanza of the effulgence of life, right? Coming into full bloom, whether it's the flowers coming into bloom or the milk coming in, the corn, etc. It's also, though, if you look at astrology, it's the full moon in Scorpio, which is interesting because the Scorpio archetype is that of death and transformation, intensity, empowerment from going into the underworld and undergoing a release of of what needs to drop away, and then re-emerging from that, transformed, much like the phoenix from the flames. So that's intense, right? That's I think we can all, these energies, these archetypes are always present, but right now, of course, we are, I'm sure, really feeling that, aware of that, and what's happening in the churning of life on the planet. It's always churning. And maybe you're especially aware of your own inner workings, especially with all this extra time we've had to ourselves. We're not in our daily routines, and so we are seeing more, perhaps, that we maybe don't always see underneath the surface. So that's all Scorpio work, Scorpio awareness. And meanwhile, again, yeah, flowers are blooming. So there's this like juxtaposition and even tension between kind of the inner and the outer. Inner workings, inner empowerment with this outer unfolding. And meanwhile, full moon, I always think of when it's a full moon time, just this energy of revelation, right? That when we come to practice yoga, that's what we are here to tap into, both what's happening inside of us to become more present to that, more connected to that through just awareness of breath and showing up on our mats. And then unfolding, of course, through our practice, we are unfolding our poses. We're unfolding through our awareness. It's not always just glorious expansion, but it's also everything we do in yoga is just, sometimes we're just face to face with what's real. The full moon is about wholeness. It's about the perfection of being accepting of all the parts. Meanwhile, this full moon is the Vesak moon, which is traditionally understood, celebrated when the Buddha was enlightened. So how interesting is that? Enlightenment of this encompassing of our full experience, the dark and the light. So that's a lot of big themes. We'll just do some yoga with all that said. I do want to focus today, usually on full moon, I think of backbends because they are so opening, so revealing, but we'll focus on belly down backbends today. So let's get started. Let's take a seat. And again, if you're here, you want to just say hello that you're practicing at the moment. Love to see you. Take a good seat, turn the inner thighs down, widen the sit bones apart. Sitting on a blanket so I have some support to just really align through the spine. So let's check, yes. Someone's trying to get on. I was checking my phone. All right, so taking that good seat, sitting tall and open. Soften the gaze or close your eyes and just take a few moments to settle in through the breath. So that was a lot. This idea of this inner working into the shadows, this outer unfolding, and full moon, right? Intensity and beauty, revelation. Take a few moments to just settle into your own experience, settle into what is real for you right now as you come to your breath, and just begin to listen and to feel. Through the breath, yes, we settle into our inner experience. At least we begin to. We begin to navigate that terrain, which can, of course, sometimes be a little murky, a little scary, the underneath of it all. But to come into wholeness, little by little, we are seeking to integrate all that's there. And we'll just allow that happens, I think, naturally. At least we have the opportunity for that as we move through our practice. And meanwhile, we'll, of course, unfold ourselves. We'll move through our postures. We'll express through our postures and make the beauty through our bodies, much like the beauty of springtime. And all of it held together in the light of our awareness on this full moon this morning. So welcome a breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to touch with the heart. Opening with one Om. Inhale fully. Carry it to your heart. Lower your hands to your thighs. Lift your head, open your eyes. Okay, so, oh, hi, Bonnie. Great to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Long time. So going up to table, if you have a couple blocks, it's handy to have them, even just one block. You can place that between the upper thighs if you have it. If you don't worry so much about that. But just do your best to pull strength into the center. So give your fingers a good spread and elongate through your spine, connecting to your breath continually. With your inhale, then lift your tailbone, follow that wave through, lift your heart, lift your head. Exhale, curl the tailbone under, and tone your abdomen as you round and stretch your back, pressing through your hands well. Inhale, again, lift your tail and follow that wave, lift your heart, lift your head. Exhale, and rounding under. Hey, Vicki. Ooh, it's your full moon Scorpio. Enjoy. Yes. So rounding under, and just move with your breath in this way. So moving through, connecting body and breath together, connecting your inner awareness with your always outer unfolding. It's kind of the story of it all, that there's always this outer unfolding, but we have to maybe seek out the discovery of the inner workings a little bit more. And our empowerment lies within that, a deeper empowerment. So moving with the breath in this way a couple more times through, and maybe you're needing to go a little bit side to side with that, twisting a little bit with that. Just working it out, all good. Connecting body and breath and movement. So the next time then you exhale into cat pose, let's hold cat pose. So if you have that block in the squeeze, that you're rounding in and flexing in and compacting, can you still elongate? Can you still make your spine long through the tailbone to the top of the head? But yes, this shape, hard to breathe deeply, but use this shape to stretch out your back, to lift the core, lowest belly, ribs, and throat, in and up. And connecting into kind of what's unseen in the back body in that way as well. Just activating deeply at the front. So keep the strength of your abdominals in the front, and with your next inhale, move your thighs back, lift your sit bones, lift your tailbone, and from the lowest part of your spine, start to move your way through once again into cow pose, which you will also hold. So coming slowly up into cow, Much easier to breathe in, much easier to talk here. You can even hear the difference in my throat as open back up again to this outer awareness, right? Still think about squeezing into the blocks, sit bones back, tailbone up. Toning is still here. Can you tighten around your waist and still activate the strength of the front body, but very much also feeling now the strength of your back. Soften a little more between the shoulder blades to move the heart more forward. Keep elongating the spine, tailbone, top of head. All right, so one more breath here with that. With your exhale, come back to neutral, the place in the middle, and just to feel into those four curves of the spine, as they stretch into an energetic straight line, and just tighten around the center. And move your right hand up a handprint. Bring your left hand right to the front rib area, and just let that help you to tone and connect there as you twist to the left, elongating through your spine, tailbone, top of head. And then stretch your left arm up as you take a big breath in. And exhale, thread it underneath. So reach the arm through and really make it a twist. So try to reach underneath even farther, almost lean to the right to get that arm really reaching underneath, and then slowly lay it back down. Just on the side of the head, and keep pulling your ribs in on that side. And almost like you're leaning back a little bit more to stretch out through your back. The back of that left shoulder for sure. You want to elongate your spine in that same way. Push into the back of the left hand down to the right hand to help you to twist. And then with your inhale, come back up nice and easy. Reset the hands under the shoulders as you take a breath. And then move that left hand up about a hand print, right hand at the front ribs. Again, tighten through that area, really turning from the ribs. Elongate through the spine, twisting open. You can stretch that arm up as you take a big breath in. And then again, twisting underneath. So reach through your right arm. Reach and even almost go a little off center to get that back of the hand pressing, and then you have to twist more in that way. Lowering the side of the head down, pushing into the left hand. You may find that the left knee gets a little lighter as you do that, trying to drive down into it. And elongate through, tailbone, top of the head. And you try to pull your rib cage back into the twist. You're leaning into the back body as you twist. One more breath here. And then push down into that left hand. Come back up to table once again. All right, so center through the spine, resetting, and then remove the block. So come into a seat from there. And then from here, with your heels on the floor, think cat pose. So first, press the heels down, elongate again through neutral spine, tighten to the center, really wrap around the waist. But then as you start to lean back, curl the tailbone under and lower slowly down. We're just going to come down halfway, basically. So keep tightening through the middle, pull your waistline back, try to stretch those lower ribs away from the hips, and then slowly down. And once you get the ribs down, pause, hold here. Tighten in that deepest layer. Notice what's happening in the neck. You don't want to crank the head way up there. So you can keep your chest up, but then you take the head back a little further. And then bring your fingertips into the back of the head, gently press back. And now keep flexing up as much as you can, tighten through the center. And then left shoulder towards right knee. Twisting, just like you did a moment ago. Can you flex up a little higher? Can you twist a little tighter? And back with the inhale. We're just going to do this once. So do it fully and cross it over. Lifting up, flexing up, tighten to the middle, twisting as you lift, breathing. All right, untwist, very good. And then lower it down. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch your legs out long. Breathe into center. So all that just yoga stirs up the way that we can just be present to ourselves more deeply. Curious about what's showing up inside, and yes, curious also about how can we unfold and express ourselves in a more full way. So from there, bend your knees up. So that was a very round spine, right? Just using that to stretch out the back. So now here, pick your feet up off the floor, hands to the fronts of the thighs, and focus instead now on just this neutral spine. So the low back will be a little bit away from the floor, like you did on hands and knees, elongate through the spine. A little bit of curve in that low back, but just really tighten around the waist. You're tightening that belt around the waist corset and pushing against the thighs with your hands, tightening in. Spread your toes. You open up really the whole body here, reaching through the top of the head, and again, tightening through the middle as you push the hands and thighs together. So elongate through in that way. Then either you can roll to one side to help yourself up, or bring your hands behind your thighs like cat pose again. We'll flex upwards, this time with the assistance of pushing into your hands with your thighs. Stretch the elbows apart. Once again, think about pulling back at your sternum and those low ribs so you stretch out the back well. So again, either roll to one side or here, just rock yourself up and back through and into table pose. And from there, down dogs. So press your hands down, move your knees back a little further. Make sure those hands are well placed. Finger pads, knuckles pressing, hands pointing straight ahead. But lift it up into your down dog. And start always prioritizing the center. So bend your knees and stretch your sit bones, your tailbone a little more up. Tone your belly, your ribs, your throat. You find your way to that same balanced spine. Then you can start to push down through one heel and the other, pedaling it out, opening it up. And just, get what you need there. You can swish, swivel, stretch it out a little bit more, whatever way you need it here. Breathing deeply, breathing in, breathing out. All right, so from there, look to the front of the mat and start to walk forward. Nice and slow. Ground into your feet then, hips width distance. And inhale, lengthen to halfway, heart and head forward. Exhale, tip forward from your hips, bow your head down. Then inhale again, arch it to halfway. Bend your knees, hands on tops of thighs for down the stairs, like this half squat. So sit into the hips, pushing with your thighs as you lengthen your spine. Tighten around the middle, find that same corset strength, right? So you're in neutral spine here once again. And the reason is really focusing on this because this wrapping muscle around the center, when we go towards back bends, this is the one you can still really engage well and feel that connection front to back, even as you're opening up the front body. So get tighten through the middle, press against the thighs, extend the spine evenly, and then stand with an inhale. You can circle through those arms, reach overhead. Exhale, lower the arms by your sides. So you can just stay at the front of the mat. I'm gonna take your block. I'm gonna move this way. I can see my back a little better. Take your block this time between your shins, a few inches below the knees, and just give it a good squeeze. That's another thing. It's like with the back bends we're going to do, it's so important that you can pull in with your legs, both at the inner thighs, but also here at the lower legs. So spread your pinky toes out to the sides, really squeeze your shins in. It's going to give you so much stability and integration, even as you open things up. So again, drawing strong through your center, especially pull your ribcage back. And then with an inhale, stretch the arms overhead. To lose that, and come to cactus arms, bend your elbows. So remember to turn this way. So pulling the ribcage back, but then drawing those shoulder blade tips into that fullness. So again, there's a sense of opening in the front, but staying connected to what's a little more unseen behind you there. Then keep the strength of that. So you're making those muscles through those arms, drawing into your shoulder blades. The right hand's going to reach over and find the left wrist, and then pull yourself over into a big side stretch without losing that. Yeah, shift your hips to the left, tone your abdomen in. You keep working those arms from hands to shoulder blades, squeezing in, and then reach a little longer, stretch into it a little more. Inhale back up, back to cactus, connect all together. Left hand reaches over, finds that right wrist, and hips to the right, torso to the left. Strong at your belly, your front ribs, and even though you're stretching towards straight arms, keep pulling back into connection, and then stay with that as you stretch. All right, come back up with the inhale, and exhale, lower those arms down by your sides. Inhale, again, circle the arms out and overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, hands on thighs. So again, lengthen through the spine, take a breath. Strong from feet to hips, you can then tip forward, stretch it out a little more through those legs. So keep dragging the heels back, press into the balls of your feet, squeeze that block, and then just think about stretching your hips up higher. So you tip forward from your hips, tone your belly. Hang your head down for a moment. You can slide the shoulder blades up the back as you hang your head down. You might get a nice, extra nice release in that neck there as you hang your head down. All right, so inhale, arch up to halfway. I've got to get back to the front of the mat. So from the front, and I'm going to want to use blocks here. All right, step your left foot back into a lunge. So right foot forward, left foot back, and you can be up on blocks, or you can be up on hands on the front knee. But I want you to be a little higher up here and supported in that way. So that means the spine can be longer and straighter, more centered. So breathe in and press your back thigh higher. Firm the right hip in as you tone your belly, and yes, bend into that left knee, stretching open a little more here. And then step to the front to switch, right foot back, breathing. Stay with the breath always, stay close. Breath helping us to really feel into. Hey Tracy, thank you. A nice thing to say. Breathing into your experience, stay connected in that way with your, yes, back thigh pressing higher. And as you tone your left hip and bending deeper into your knee, stretching through your spine. All right, step to the front of the mat once again and arch up halfway. You can set those blocks to the side. Exhale, step it to plank pose. And we'll hold plank. So spread your fingers, press into the hands. We get those knuckles pressing. First, knees can be down or up. I'll give you, stages, modifications throughout the practice. So either way, keep the legs steady, like we did earlier. Tone belly and ribs in as you push through your hands, broaden the upper back. Really pull those ribs in. Then keep that broadness, but then as you bend your elbows, pull back like you have cactus arm shoulder blades onto the back as you come down. So stretch those legs long behind you then, super strong. Take the arms by your sides and clasp the hands behind your hips. And if you need to, of course, you can put a strap or a shirt in between the hands instead and just curl up from there to bound the locust. Press into the tops of the feet. So can you feel here as you press into the feet and tighten at the hips? Remember, we talked about tightening at the waist, that front to back connection. You pull in through your abs, even as you're stretching up. A little bend to those elbows, curl up, chest up, head up, take a breath here. All right, hands on the floor and push up and back, downward facing dog. And let that give you some length and space to the spine. You can bend your knees, stretch your hips up higher to open it up a little more. All right, so then return to table pose. So we'll add in here from table, set your hands well. Again, elongate through your spine, neutral spine, so tighten that corset around the waist. And then here with an inhale, hey Erica, good to see you. Lift your left leg up to 90 degrees. So several things here. Leg to 90 degrees, tighten your navel, stay long through your spine, and like you're squeezing a block with that leg, so you're still pointing the foot straight up and not out to the side this way, right? So the squeeze into the middle, and as you hold neutral spine, and yes, flex the foot and push the foot up higher, you're gonna feel this in hamstrings and glutes in particular. So then take a breath, and with your next exhale, bring the knee in towards your chest, squeeze the heel up towards your sit bone, and round your back like cat, push through your hands, really tone your belly in and up. With the inhale, try to keep the heel back close, but lift back up again this time. Lift your tail, lift your head more towards cow, but squeeze that heel in. Exhale, knee to chest, round your back, push through the hands, strong, strong. And the inhale again. Reach it up and back, keep the heel close. You can flex the foot a little more there if you like though, as you lift up. One more time. The exhale, rounding in, knee to chest, pull your navel in. And this time with the inhale, just come back to level, right? So back to where we started, elongating the spine, and then lower that knee down. And just shake it off. You can reset the hands, refresh the hands. And then second side. So you can tone that corset around your waist, elongate the spine. And with an inhale, lift your right leg up, just some neutral, right? Just level with the hip there. And scissor the middle like you're squeezing a block. Work the foot. As you keep your navel in strong, your ribs in strong, do push just the foot higher. And then, of course, you'll feel that a little more in hamstrings and glutes. Squeeze the heel in more. Take a big breath, and with the exhale, knee to chest. You can point those toes to bring it in tight. Rounding, draw your navel in and up. Inhale, and flex the foot more as you lift your chest, lift your head more towards cow, but squeeze that heel in tight. Exhale, bring it in, knee to chest, squeeze the heel in and up, push your hands. Again, inhale, push the foot up, keep it all happening, tailbone and head lifting evenly. And one more time, exhale. Bring it in tight, turn your belly in, round in. And again, inhale, lift to just back to neutral, level, I should say, of neutral spine. And lower that knee down. And again, refresh the hands. Now here, we'll shift back into downward facing dog. And from there, with an inhale, lift your right leg straight up and back behind you. And similarly, bring that right knee into your chest, rounding in, heel squeezes in, and then we'll just go ahead and step it forward. So move your head out of the way, of course. And just pick up the foot, move it up if it didn't make it all the way. And bring hands to the front knee. Still leaning forward. Draw strength up the legs, turn that left inner thigh to the sky. Now you've worked the glutes more, so can you tighten a little more of that right hip as you bend into the knee. So stay here the whole time with hands on the front knee or hands on hips to curl up a little higher, starting to, again, tighten front to back, but to, yes, bring more lift into the chest once again. Bend deeper into the front knee. Stay here with hands on hips or inhale the arms overhead. We can go again, cactus arms like we did from standing. And then with an inhale, reach overhead once again. Exhale, bending into the front knee, open up a little bit more. Take a big full breath. Exhale, touch it down. Downward facing dog. And left leg up with your inhale, keeping hips level. Knee to chest like you just practiced. So rock forward, squeeze the heel to the sit bone, even round your back. And then you just have to move your head out of the way and maybe flick it up. Move it up as you need to and lift up, hands onto the front knee. Settle and breathe, connect to your inner experience, infusing this outer unfolding. So make those legs strong, like you're squeezing a block. Tighten the left hip in a little more as you bend into that knee. And hands on hips start to curl up. And so again, tighten around the waist. Cow pose is through the tailbone and the top of the head. So unfold in that direction. Inhale the arms overhead. And with the exhale, you can bend the elbows and strongly pull down into the shoulder blade tips, keeping the throat back. Stay there or reach the arms overhead. With the inhale, your next exhale, unfold through your whole pose. Big breath in here. Exhale, again, touch down. This time, step to plank pose. You can hold in plank, strong through your center, and lower down onto your front with the exhale. Stretch your legs long and strong. Lift your hands to a hover, again, like a cactus arm. So you can do that even one more time. You can reach forward with an inhale. And then pull back. Pause for a moment. So it's a hands-free cobra. Again, can you tighten front to back? Can you reach to those legs a little bit more? And then do place your hands. Let's keep going, cobra pose. So lift as much as you like, or as little as you like. As you lift up though, can you draw in front to back at low belly, ribs, and throat, staying connected to more of what's unseen behind you, even as you lift your chest. All right, downward facing dog. Stretch it up and back. Breathe fully here. Take a few more breaths, stretch it out. You can bend those knees to center the spine more. Dialing into those lines, and then, starting to reach the heels a little more back and down. So look to the front then with your heels high, hips high. Tiptoe or leg hop, both feet to the front. Arch up with your inhale. Fold with your exhale. Head and chest up, rise with your inhale. Push through your feet. Make sure the spine nice and long on your way up, stretching up. Exhale, lower the arms. And hands to heart center as you take a full breath in. Step your left foot out to a wide stance. So from here, turn your right foot open to the right. The right foot still at the front of the mat. And those arms out wide, take a nice full breath in. Bend into the right knee and take your forearm onto the thigh. Left arm past the ear for side angle pose. Of course, you can put your right hand on the floor on a block. That's your choice. Just make sure that right knee points straight ahead over the toes. Breathe your whole way through, dragging the feet towards each other. Yes, move the thigh bones back. Remember that core work we did, pull your belly in, pull your ribs back more. You can even do a cactus on the top arm, squeezing into the shoulder blades, and then stretch it overhead again, so that connection. The exhale, bend a little deeper into the front knee, and make sure it's opening to the right. And then with your inhale, lift back up towards warrior two, so you have to also shift the pelvis more up, lift your belly in up on the right side more, tighten a little more into that left hip so you get more level in your pelvis. You can open that knee to the right as you bend into it. And then into reverse, so left hand lightly on the thigh, turn your right bicep palm up and past your ear. The left hand on the thigh, if you like to weave it around your hip, that's also fine. Again, pull your rib cage back. Shoulder blades come to meet that. Stay at your center as you breathe and unfold, bend deeper into that right knee. Inhale back through warrior two. And on your way, carefully, I like to put my forearm on my thighs, I stretch overhead, and then touch down. We're coming into a lunge. So you have to change the angle of the hips very carefully here. Lift your left heel up and squeeze that right hip back so that here you are centered once again. Step to plank pose. Hold steady in plank, take a breath, then downward facing dog, stretch up and back. So look to the front of the mat with your heels high, hips high, tiptoe or hop it forward, and arch up with your inhale from there, fold with your exhale. Head up and chest up, rise with your inhale. Exhale, lower the arms, hands to heart, little bend to the knees with the inhale. Step your right foot out, take a wide stance. So second side, that left foot will be towards the front of the mat. Turn your left foot open, right foot parallel or slightly turned in. And exhale, bending into that left knee. We just want the shin vertical. Forearm on the thigh or use a touch the floor, use a block, your choice. And of course, adjust. As you adjust your foundation in a way that you're feeling your connection from feet to head, right, and breath moving in and out. So draw strength up the legs, thighs back, but then again, tone your center, really pull the waistline back and turn more up to the sky from that back side. That top arm again, try your cactus arm here. So draw the shoulder blades into that fullness of the back and then reach overhead once again. Keep breathing, drawing into center, drawing into what's unseen, breathing out and folding yourself as you do, right? So with your next inhale, come back up through and into warrior two. So you have to lift up a little stronger on that left side, tighten that outer right hip a little bit more so you're level in your pelvis again. And with those arms out in a T, breathe your waistline back, even it's almost like a twist a little more to the, from left to right. Ribs back and the shoulder blades coming to meet that. Reverse, hand on thigh. You can turn that left biceps and palms up, reversing it back. Hand can stay there lightly on the thigh or feel free to wrap it around as well. Keep breathing in, stay connected to that inner experience. Breathe out and fold through your whole pose. And from here, with the inhale, come back up through warrior two, back through that forearm on the thigh, and carefully touch down and be mindful, careful of this transition. Lift your back heel up, tighten that left hip back so you're level again in those hips. And from there, step again to plank pose. Hold in plank, push through your hands, draw your waistline back, and this time we'll lower slowly down onto our fronts. From there, stretch the legs long. We're going to add in here. Make a pillow under your head with your forearms. Stretch those legs long, tone through your center. But also feel your breath, your belly on the ground. Let the breath expand a little more again into the back ribs, the low ribs. Then your head's going to stay on your right arm. Bend that left leg up. Left hand holds left foot. And draw the heel down towards the outer hip. We're just a simple quad stretch here. So this is the start of it. Remember when we squeeze the block with our shins? Squeeze in with your shins, right? Work the edges of your feet. And tone your core front to back like we practiced before. Tighten the glutes. So stay here, or you can lift up a little higher on that forearm, in which case you have to usually swivel that hand more to the top of the foot so the shoulder doesn't drop forward. And you can swivel over the foot, turn those fingers more straight ahead. Slide that arm back, lift your belly up, lift your chest, get more straight ahead from left to right. Some of you, this is deeper, more advanced. You can bring that right hand forward and like a cobra pose, lift up higher. So that is optional. Keep turning from left to right. So a lot of progression here. You could still be just laying with your head down, stretching the quad. All right, release down. We will switch it out, so carefully release. That head resting on that left arm. Roll the inner thighs up to the sky and bend your right leg in. Find that foot. Of course, you can use a strap as needed, and maybe you'll stay here in this basic, deep, effective quad stretch. Again, like you're squeezing a block with the shins, work the pinky edge of the feet. Tone your abdomen front to back, tighten the glutes. Stay here or lift up a little higher. Swivel the hand either onto the top of the foot, maybe over the foot with those fingers if you can. Breathing up through the right side and turn your belly and chest to the left so you're more squared. Still tone the abdomen, still firm those glutes. If you do on the other side, you want to lift up even higher on that left hand. You can add that in here. Breathe into your back body, tone to the middle, and from there, lift up a little higher. One more breath. All right, Lower back down. Rest. Just fold those arms under your head and give yourself a rest. Take a full breath in and out here. And then take your arms by your sides and reach those legs long and strong. Roll the inner thighs up. And as you press into the feet, tighten those glutes and the core. And now lift your chest, lift your head, locust pose. We'll again do the progression here. So you can stay here as you press into the hands and tops of feet. Notice the neck. Just keep your neck in alignment with the rest of the spine. So you're not lifting the face way up. Just lift your chest. Let your neck and head follow. Option to lift the arms. Option to lift the legs. Option to take the arms to cactus. Option to reach the arms overhead. So breathing fully, still tone your abdomen front to back. Scissor in like you've got a block, but use those strong glutes to lift. Reach your legs straight, so you'll want to bend at the knee here. Instead, reach so they're straighter. One more breath. All right, lower it down again, rest. Your head in your hands. Softening after an intense back bend. It's so nice to rest and just be present. Inner experience, outer unfolding always. All right, so again, stretch those legs long and strong. Let's do a cobra. Start with hands free, like locust, just activating those back body muscles. Then you can press your hands down, sweep back, lift up towards cobra. Maybe you can even lift some of you upward dog after all we've done so far. Pressing the thighs up, tighten those glutes, curling the chest more. Downward facing dog. Obviously, stay in the progression that you need. All right, so from here, take a full breath, elongating through. Okay, and look to the front of the mat. Heels high, hips high with a tiptoe or a hop. Both feet forward. Arch up with the inhale. Fold with your exhale. And head up, chest up, rise with your inhale. Exhale, lower the arms down by your sides. And from here, join your feet together if you can. If that doesn't feel so good for you, just keep your feet apart. You can try squeezing the block again. Coming into standing cow. Think of it that way. So tone in with your legs. Start to sit back, bend your knees, sit bones back. Tighten around your waist, and you have to really activate the low belly, the navel area, the front ribs in. But then with that, start to curl, press your hands back like locust. Side body's long, heads of the arm bones back, pressing back, and then take that into middle back, upper back more. Yes, your ribcage is going to move forward in a back bend. We also think about firming that tightening around the waist so it actually keeps you connected to the back as much as you're lifting the front. You're going to take that throat back. From the center point under the ribs, stretch energy in two directions through your tailbone, the top of the head. And then as you sit back more with that and you lift your chest higher, you're going to really start to feel the bend in the upper back, which is really where you want it. So either stay here and start to sit back more. Yes, it becomes more like Utkatasana. Make sure you're firming those hips. You're in charge always of how far it goes. Child, if you wish, you can inhale those arms overhead. I'm just going to use that to just work even deeper into the upper back. So sit deeper, stretch higher, breathing in, breathing out, intense pose. See what it's called, right? Stand with an inhale, mighty pose, fierce pose. Arms by your sides. Pause for a moment and back into center. Separate your feet, hips width then, and with an inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, we'll fold through. Inhale, lengthen to halfway. Step to plank pose and just through, either right to down dog is fine, or you can do a vinyasa here. You can lower with the exhale. With all that back bend strength, maybe cobra, up dog, and into downward facing dog from there. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Bring the knee forward for pigeon, but not the big hip stretch pigeon. Keep your foot, you can see here, pointed almost straight back. A little bit in is fine, but you're on the top of the foot. So as you slide back, it's more about hip flexors, and you're keeping the edges of the feet strong even here. So it's not a big hip opening movement here. It's really more about the back leg, actually. Classic pigeon, which is a back bend, not a hip opener, right? So press into the top of the right foot, that top of the left foot, Remember, like you're squeezing the block between shins and thighs. Feel how much that gives you that gathering of energy in and up. Tone your belly, tighten the glutes. And yes, you can curl the heart forward and up. So we'll add to that though. We'll take the quad stretch, right hand to the center, similar quad stretch. So even lift the hips up a little bit so you can bring the heel to the outer hip. Get deeper into the quad. So not this version where you stay back this way and lift up. You'll actually get into the quads if you close the knee more. So lift your belly and up, tighten the glutes. Of course, you can use a strap there. You can stay here in this simple grip and working glutes and core. Or some of you, same thing we did before. You can lift up a little higher. You can swivel the hand perhaps over the foot more. Lift your chest higher. Turning from left to right. Tighten the core if you're feeling that in your low back at all. You have to firm the core in and up more, front to back, and also use those glutes to press the pelvis a little more forward and down. Meanwhile, whoa, serious quad stretch. Okay, so release out of that, downward facing dog. That is a tight spot. So bringing the light of awareness into that, to what's revealed there on this full moon. All right, second side, left leg up with the inhale. Bring that knee forward, again, park the knee right behind the wrist, and you're more or less pointing the foot straight back. It's a slight angling inwards, but not a lot. On the top of the foot on both legs. Strong though at the edges of the feet, and like you're again squeezing the block between your shins, squeezing between your thighs, and draw that energy in and up in that way. From the belly and the glutes, and lift your chest as much. That feels good to you here. And yes, you'll feel that all the way through. Make sure that right hip is turning more forward to get into that hip flexor. All right, so left hand to the center, bending that right leg. And it's okay to lift your hips up to bring hip and heel together. But then as you tone your core and tighten the glutes, try to press your pelvis a little more forward and down. It's going to get into the quads and out of your low back more. Option, again, to swivel the hands higher, maybe over the foot. Turning from right to left, that includes that inner right thigh turning back. And toning your belly in and up, your ribs from front to back. Rising up within that, so you ground down, stretching your spine 2 directions always. Breathing into it. So when it gets intense, that's how we work with transformational energy in our practice. How many times in our yoga practice is there death and rebirth? Like every time, many times, right? Okay, so release out of that downward facing dog. And the enlightenment of just coming into our full, whole experience. Okay, so inhale to plank. Lower down onto your front. And we're ready for some more belly down back bends. We've done quite a few. And we'll build up into some variations here. So take your arms straight out in front of you. Here's everyone's favorite, Makar Asana, Crocodile. So arms out in front, palms facing. You see my hands at the back a little bit. Okay. And stretch those legs long behind you like we've been practicing. So hands shoulder width apart, palms facing. Press in the tops of the feet, tighten at your core, once again, those glutes. And now chop into the hands, pinky edges, and slide back to lift your armpits. So in the end, it's like a weird cobra pose. So if you're lifting up with those arms, but here, chop the hands down so the armpits lift. And again, tone the core as you curl up a little higher. So then, keep it happening, but press your elbows into the floor, lift the hands up, and then bow your head just enough to interlace the fingers behind your head, and slowly press your head back to lift those elbows up. Here again, pull those armpits in. Stay here with elbows forward. You can open the elbows apart. That's harder. And this is hard enough, right? You're getting into the strength of the neck as well. So gently press the head back, lift your chin just enough. Option here to lift the legs like locust. Option to bend your knees. That's Makarasana. Even here, you can bring the feet together, work those toes. The knees can be a little bit apart, but try to pull them in towards each other. Tighten the glutes as you press your feet up. Elongate through your spine. One more breath. And carefully release. Okay. So that's really intense, but that's the strengthening of the whole back body, and particularly gets a lot more into the upper back and the back of the neck. So if that's too much, you can just stay for really the next several poses. You can do variations of locust. Like if you're newer to this and this gets pretty intense, we all need the strengthening of our back body. So maybe you're just, you have arms by your sides and you're lifting up into locust and you rest when you need to and you just keep going because that's where it all starts. So let's try that again briefly, arms out in front, and taking that into our first Dhanurasana bow pose. So stretch the legs behind you. Chop into the hands and lift up. Remember, tighten the core. And you can bend those elbows and hands behind the head. Press your head back as you lift up and open those elbows, or not. This time, bend your knees, and if you'd like, push the feet up, lift up, and from the strength you got from that, reach back and find your feet or your ankles. Squeeze the blocks between shins and thighs. Kick your feet back and up. Use those glutes to lift. Heart forward and up. Dhanurasana bow pose. Elongate through your spine, breathe into your back, and lower down. All right. Rest. I like to put my hands under my head, my arms under my head. It's a little more supportive for the neck with the head straight down. If you're comfortable resting with arms by your sides and head turning to one side, if that feels okay for your neck, fine. Just make sure you turn your head both ways. But if the neck feels tense at all or scrunched, just bring your arms out in front. It's a little safer. Okay, so back up to table. So we'll do some bow variations from table, one-legged bows. So from here, elongate the spine, tighten through your belly in that same neutral way. Remember, we can keep the front body strong while we move towards a back bend. All right, so option here, we'll start with the left leg straight back, right arm forward, so opposite arm and leg straight. That's going to be more like locust, and this is more neutral spine. This is your option, your variation, a little more doable. So then, like we did before, there, if you want to add bow, bend the knee up, take your arm by your side. Before you grab your foot, lift your tail, lift your head, squeeze the heel in, squeeze it like you've got a block. Notice this arm here, keep the side body long, don't reach back like this, but just start to curl up, chest up, head up, and can you find your foot or your ankle? And then keep going, kicking the foot back and up. Scissoring to the middle though. Find the center. You're going to tend to fall over to the left. So turn almost like you're twisting back to the left. Tighten in with the back leg from your right glute and reach the heart forward and up. All right, carefully release, come out of it the way you came. Pause, breathe here. And as you elongate through the spine and tighten to the center, reach your right leg straight back, your left arm forward. Maybe you're staying here. Opposite arm and leg, very strengthening to the back. Just again, locust, a variation of locust here. Then your option, bend the knee to 90 degrees, squeeze in. Take the left arm by your side, keeping that side body long. Start to curl towards cow pose, squeezing the heel in, pressing the foot higher. Tighten the center, curl up, chest up, head up, and maybe you reach back and find the foot and keep going. You got to squeeze in with that back leg. If you've got the blocks or the edges of your foot, tighten through the middle. Again, the tendency is to over twist to the left, so square your chest straight ahead, squeeze in with the right leg and outer left hip. And from there, find the center, breathe in and connect to what's more unseen. Breathe out and keep unfolding two directions. And with your inhale, carefully release. Come back to table. And lower down onto your front. So then we'll do one more pass at bow pose. We'll do bow to the side. We'll do side bow. I think it's a relatively fun. Fun is always a tricky word in yoga. You may not be having fun, and that's fine. I encourage you to have your experience that you're having, but it's more dynamic. It gives you a little more freedom anyway. So if you're again working locust, just do a couple more of those, or again stretch those legs back. The first bow we did, we started from locust. Here instead, start from just taking your feet and finding the connection here. Can you actually squeeze your heels in to find your hamstrings, like just with the strength of your legs? And then when you find those feet, kick the feet back as you tone your glutes and lift up and tone your core. So using the strength of those legs to lift up. Then here's side bow. I'll go to the left first. So you can see I'm trying to actually catch that left head of the arm bone and pin it back. And then instead of just rolling all the way over and laying down, though, if you want to do that, please enjoy. Otherwise, actually hold it more to diagonal, so you kind of balance a little bit on that left side. Kick that right foot a little more up You're just on the edge of it there. And then come back to center, other side. Roll it over, catch the head of that right arm bone on the floor there. Again, that arm and leg comes to the floor, but angle yourself through, orienting more through that left leg and trunk. Tone the center, tone those glutes. Open it up from there. And then come back to center, and we'll lift up one last time. So center yourself, balance it back out. And with an inhale, lift up. And folding through, tailbone top of head. One more big breath. And that's it. Lower down, release. Consider putting your arms under your forehead. And just soften down and breathe. Feeling again the fullness of awareness. The backbends open up the breath, whether or not they're fun, whether or not you like them. They open up the space to breathe, let the light of that shine into your experience, like the full moon in the clear night sky. So hands on the floor by your chest, downward facing dog. To stretch out your back, right? So make that a bow, nice long spine. Leverage your legs from strong from feet to hips to reach your thighs up and back, like as if you have an extra set of hands to push your thighs back. And then reach back and down through your heels, elongating through. And we'll stretch out those hamstrings as well. They worked hard in your bow pose. Lower them down to child's pose. So you can have knees apart, feet together, or if it feels okay for the fronts of your hips, you can have your knees and feet together. But either way, tone in a little bit with the legs, lift your core, you have to lift it more if you're doing the knee together, child's pose. And yeah, big stretch for those back muscles. So walk your hands carefully forward, lift your belly in and up, and then walk both arms over to the right. We'll do side, child's pose to the side, and that'll get much deeper into those muscles along the left, which you did some asymmetrical back bend, so you're going to feel that one side worked hard. Tone your belly in and up. Elongate through, and you can push through your right hand and even twist a little bit more. You'll change the angle of that stretch. We're not only stretching long from hip to hand, but even think about that from the whole left side of your spine. It's like it's widening out, expanding out to the left. Come back to center, go the other way. Walk over to the left and reach from right hip to right hand. And yes, keep the right hip heavy. That is the main angle of that stretch. Nice and long through that hand. And just again, feeling as well that sense of widening out from the spine to the right. Maybe a little twist to the left will help you to feel that. Come back to center. And then a couple more breaths in child's pose. Arms out in front for the same reasons for the neck. If your neck feels okay, and you can try arms by your sides, and you just have to be really strong in your core. Any tension in the neck though, arms out in front. Breathe here, breathe in, breathe out. Help yourself up through table pose into a seat. And onto your back. Cross your right ankle over your knee, work that edge of the foot. Tighten through the waist. And either just stay here opening that knee with a hand, or you can float the legs up towards you, creating some resistance though. Push that ankle into the knee, tighten to the middle, and then you can grab behind the thigh or the shin. Push into your hands, away from your belly first, and ground those hips down. Elongate your spine. So that's stage one. More neutral spine with plenty to feel in the hips there. Stage two, rolling in, and the hips will roll up. You're still pushing forward, lengthening the spine, but you can roll the hips up and stretch out more. Probably need that stretch. But just either way, working with those actions, staying with your breath. Lower down from there, and we'll switch. So left ankle crosses over right. Push ankle into knee, toe to the center, and welcome to stay there, pushing hand on thigh. Or you can float that right leg up from your strong center, hold behind the thigh or the shin. Again, push forward into the hands, away from the belly, down into the hips. Elongate your spine. And then option to pull in tighter and mindfully let your pelvis roll up to pull in tighter. And of course, using your core to support that and breathing deeply. Either way, staying balanced, smoothing out the breath more and more. All right, lower carefully down. And both feet on the floor, arms out in a T. Cross your right knee over the left. And we'll slide the hips a little bit to the right. Lower those knees over to the left. Pull the ribs in on the right and twist open to the right a little bit more. Elongate through your spine in that same way. Keeping your low back curved, but pulling it a little tighter on the right ribs so you stay centered as you open. From right shoulder through right hip and knee. Come back to center. And second side, left knee on top of right. Scoot your hips a little to the left. Lower the knees to the right. And open across your left chest there. Center the spine as always, keeping a low back curve, but narrow in at the front of the left ribs more as you twist. Elongate through your spine, tailbone, top of head. Open more, left shoulder to left hip. Breathing. And with your inhale, come up carefully and straighten out those hips as you uncross your legs and take the legs up. Start with your palms right on your kneecaps and press straight down into the backs of your hips. And again, center the spine, traction the spine, and then take the knees a little wider and hold the shins below the knees and push into the hands as you draw the knees up. Maybe you stay there, or from here you can transition to happy baby, where same thing, you'll go from hips along the floor, so you have to roll up a little bit usually in happy baby. Push the feet up into the hands, but also try to roll your hips back down for this one. And you can stay here, or the variations, shapes, stretches. I usually my body just is like really wanting to do at the end of class. That is to maybe straighten the legs out. Maybe you need to hold on to your calves or your thighs so you can keep those hips on the floor as you do that. And then option to carefully roll up a little ways, again, toning your abdomen deeply. You can hold on to those heels. Here you're really working the core and your round in the back is really stretching here on the middle back, where the ribs moving back like we did at the beginning of class. And that can turn into this, it's called Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana, stretching out the back. If it's safe for you, very carefully, you can roll a little more towards a soft cloud, just rolling more onto the upper part of those ribs. And again, just carefully stretching it out. It's not a lot of weight on your neck here. You're more on the rib cage, shoulders. If that feels okay to you, obviously if that's too much, stay in happy baby. You can also just hug your knees a little tighter and rock it out. That'll be nice. Another nice way, and probably should finish here, everybody. You can hug those knees in and just soften it up after such strong work. Okay. And this time to rest. So put your feet on the floor. Nice big breath through the sides, shoulder blades underneath you. So balancing the spine even here, and then walk those legs out. Of course, maybe you need to put on your socks, your shirts. I'm going to do that in a moment here. It's a little chilly today here in Atlanta. Let's take a moment to spread your body out evenly. If you need additional cushioning, lift under the behind the knees, that's a nice place to give yourself additional support if your low back is a little tender. Now you might be feeling your low back. You worked your low back, right? You worked the back muscles a lot today, so it's okay if you're feeling those muscles. You know, they were activated in the work. But obviously, if you feel some compression in your low back, we need to at some point explore like what's going on there. How can we address that in a more basic way? Just settling onto your back, resting. Feeling what you've opened up through your practice. The opportunity always to be present inwardly, getting more familiar with the inner workings of ourselves, our minds, our hearts, even our bodies as we practice. And within that, it's continually unfolding, right? Unfolding, making beauty, like the flowers, flower moon. Life always has its outer expression. The enlightenment, the revelation of the full moon is to be present to it all, light and dark. And the wholeness of your full experience. Continue to rest in this way, just basking in the light of your awareness, present to what arises to be seen and known within you. And drawing in a deeper, fuller breath all the way into the deepest place, in the back of the ribs, the inner workings of the breath. The exhale, just let it flow through you, and that outward expression through you. And stretch and wiggle at fingers and toes, arms and legs. And when you're ready, you can roll to one side. Rest on your side for a moment with your head on your arm. And sit up then when you're ready. And take a good seat, maybe sitting up on a blanket, blocks, sit up tall, aligned through your spine. And bring your hands to touch at the heart. Moon and Scorpio may May there be blessings of transformation inwardly, outwardly. May we be empowered by this work that we do in our practice and empowered more fully to show up to life and everything that it's asking of us right now, both to just bask in the beauty of springtime, but we all know there's work to be done for a more enlightened condition of life on the planet. May our practice support us in this way, in so many ways, every way. And we'll close with an Om. Inhale fully. Namaste. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for saying hello, because you said hello, and if you practiced, awesome. So good to have you. If you're watching this later and doing the practice later, fantastic. I will post this, it'll be stay on my page, and I also put it on my YouTube page. It's a place you can find all my videos for future watching. So thank you all for being here, and take good care of yourselves. And you can write more notes if you want to. I'll see your comments anytime you post anything. If you're watching it later, if you want to add something now. Okay, we're going to close. So thank you again, and be well.